right? If your only issue is, oh my God, yeah, but she was in Playboy, then again, your reasons for getting married are null and void. It's like that's not the purpose of getting married, right? About whatever. So I think. But so go on.
Well, I was going to say, but young men, I mean, maybe they're not always interested in getting married until they meet, the right girl, right? So, and then that kind of, historically speaking, that's supposed to force their hand. It's supposed to be like, oh, shoot, this girl's awesome. And she's not having sex with me, so because she wants to wait to get married, and so that forces them into that position of like, all right, well, I love her, I want to marry her, and of course I want to have sex with her. So that's historically the case, but now the guys are being pulled, through the porn industry. They're being pulled. And their attention span's going down. They're not waiting as long. They're like, because I can see 1,000 naked women tonight. You know what I mean? That's in their head. They're subconsciously thinking this. That they can do this tonight. Or I can spend, 6 months, 3 months, spend all this money, all this time to maybe, what I mean, get to an intimate level with this girl. And so the porn industry is eroding. Yes, it is lust. The porn industry is eroding men, and women are kind of having to adapt to survive. That's sort of my long-term, or my total spiel.
Men actually adapting to survive in the situation, because again, women obviously they had feminism, they had autonomy and whatnot, and then what happened was they started to get even more choosy. Now, women were choosy before, right? Modern women aren't the only ones who are materialistic. All women have been materialistic since the dawn of time, right? They want to date the one who has the most resources so that their kids are also able to procreate and blah, 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 right? So this is not a new thing, right? Women have always wanted power, money, power, and respect. We're human too. Both men and women want money, power, and respect. We're not, a different species. We all want that. Right? Now, obviously, when it comes down to, now you have more rules and regulations and social rules and regulations, that's when now you have, love is above all else. Honestly, funny.
Right. Bro, you're kind of going down the religion route, and that is true. I mean, if you have...
Stop. No. Stop. Because, I know. Sorry. Let me slow down. I'm so sorry, Stephen. You were right. I was speaking to you. Right, you're right. No, because a lot of these ideals were around before what we would call a lot of these Abrahamic religions, right? These have just been around since even before the...
Now we're going into religion?
No.
I didn't want to talk about hoes this bad. God damn.
Stop. No, not right. I'm just saying, if you know, it's not about religion, right? This is just about human nature, right? Generally speaking, human nature, you want the best for yourself, you want the best for your kids, you want the best for your family, right? And how do you get the best? You associate yourself with the best. For women, you sleep with the best, right? You kind of serve the best. For men, right? Again, men are the original gold diggers, right? Because men would actually, go and marry other rich women, and because back then women couldn't really inherit anything, they would inherit wealth, right? So men were the original gold diggers. They will find a
dude. It was families that dictated who married who. Generally, it was not the husband that was the gold digger.
Wait. Yes. However, that was again a transfer of wealth through the woman, because the woman couldn't inherit that wealth, right? Let's say you have a mother and a father and a daughter. She's the only child. She's the only one who can actually inherit that wealth, but legally she can't inherit the wealth, right? If she goes unmarried, right, and they die, that wealth will just go to the state or whatever, right? So in order to preserve that wealth, you have to marry her off, right? So you make a kind of like a thing with like another family, say, you have a son, right? We have a mine, you have a refinery, so how about we marry our children together so that actually we can now...
Dude, I'm trying my best not to, I came in to have a super fucking offensive space. I really, truly cannot give two fucking shits about what women think about men. I really don't care. I don't care about dating.
Yeah, can I respond
think
to this? I'm dying.
These man versus women rooms are so fucking annoying.
You just said women want
George, I
power.
don't need you to fucking chime in, okay? Like, Jesus Christ.
You're just waffling now. You're just waffling.
Mute up, Professor.
You mute up, bitch.
Oh my God.
Who the fuck you? I don't know you.
Do you think I know you? You don't let anybody.
Okay, no, I don't want a cat fight on my stage. That's like,
Okay, guys.
I don't need my ears. My ears. Stop. Rape.
So,
Don't. So,
All right, rain down cat gifts.
I said something.
Auditor.
Women love to mythologize the things they find important.
I'd like to speak as well, if I'm allowed.
yeah, go ahead, doctor. You haven't said anything.
I gotta jump, but good discussion, guys.
I think it's really
You're leaving already, VP? Holy cow.
I think when it's really
Gotta spend some time with the wife.
I think it's really helpful if people get on stage and they kind of read the room, they look at the comments, they make sure people are not asking you to shut up or whatever. Like, it's just common courtesy. But anyways, I think one of the interesting factors outside of evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology is this notion that we are in a digital era, an attention economy, where beautiful women in particular are making fortunes because of sponsorships, because of OnlyFans, because of all kinds of reasons. And so you put this small percentage of women, you platform them, and men are only seeking largely this population, right? At least in their minds, many want trophy wives. So we unfortunately assess this from a perspective of looking at a skewed sample size, right? Like, this is not what is really normal, but this is the exposure we get. The most beautiful women get the most visibility, and they're running with it, and they're not good models. And I mean models in terms of models, a biopsychosocial model of a good human being, right? These are people who are often narcissistic, very difficult to be around. They create so many problems for men. Professor, can you put up every emoticon under the sun? It's distracting. Jesus Christ.
Well, just I can't lie. I said nothing.
I mean, we've been listening to your bullshit for 4 hours.
I said nothing.
Damn.
Wow.
Focus, man. Focus.
God damn.
Why the hell are you watching the screen when you're talking? Calm down.
Jesus
Don't
Christ.
watch the screen.
Maybe the moderator can shut down this stupidity.
I'm like,
I hate to tell you this, but I'm a seasoned Clubhouse user, and I know my way around the space.
Okay, Professor, go on mute.
I'll let her talk.
Professor, go on mute.
I was on me. He
Go on
interrupted.
Oh my
He
God.
was literally on me. I wasn't saying anything, bro. But I just put fucking emojis. That's it. And he was fucking, oh my God, so
And I think the professor has spent her piece. Why don't you open the mic?
Go ahead, say what you want.
Okay.
No, just not speaking. Let me finish.
Oh my God.
The other guy left.
Wait, driver.
Can I go?
Oh, shit.
From every
Well, yeah, Homer asked, and you can go next, Alan.
As you know, I've invested in dating apps for 10 years, and what has been described is just not accurate. There are plenty of men and women who have realistic standards, plenty of men and women who are dating people at the same SMV and finding success. So I find this room to be relentlessly and unrealistically negative. And I've been trying to fix that.
I think it's kind of.
What kind of fucking room did you think Do you think I was going to open up a room to like Kumbaya or some gay shit about men and women? Fuck that.
I think there are some.
Go ahead, get more out of your system, Pepe. Why don't you go on a little rant for a bit, and we'll all reset. Go ahead.
No, it's Alan's turn. You can just go.
All right, Alan.
Hi, Stephen. Thank you.
Howdy.
All right.
There are two things you must remember when it comes to dating, and you can take this to the grave. In my long experience listening to people talk about relationships. Number one, people find somebody they want to have sex with and then hope to hell that they get along with them. That's how people choose mates. Everything else is BS. It's both men and women. It's I'd like to fuck that person, and then if they start doing it, it's well, gee, he picks his nose, but I guess I can live with that because I want to have sex with that person. The second thing is, when it comes to relationships, remember this rule. People always get what they want. I will repeat that. People always get what they want. And if you think in your mind, I'm not getting what I want, no. You're getting exactly what you want. You just got some issues that are preventing you from getting it. That's my input on this subject.
I think what that guy said was kind of irrelevant because...
Shut up, Oksana. Nobody asked you what your fucked up opinion. Thank you. You're one of those people that have to comment.
Most male celebrities are good
Thank
looking,
you
right?
very
Most
much.
male celebrities are good looking.
Oh my God.
Most
Let
male celebrities are good looking. You very rarely find, right, a majority of male celebrities
people can decide. Shut up, bitch.
So when you were saying that,
for themselves, I'm going to keep talking.
To be handsome,
People can decide for themselves what they think. They don't need your commentary.
I can go on forever.
They don't need,
right?
yes.
Either way, right, yeah? So, for example, think about that mixed race guy, right?
Another lying British
literally got arrested, right? And his mugshot went viral. Right? His mugshot went viral, and then became a model, right? Again, man or woman, if you are attractive, you are receive good things. It's very simple. It's very simple. Man or woman, if you are attractive, you receive good things. Right?
I mean, if Oksana was like if I got to Oksana, I don't mean that, not every different strokes for different folks, like they say. But I know, but I'm just saying, like, I could imagine, like, trying to go to bed, and then you were just talking, and I would be wanted. I'd be a wanted man the next day.
Why? I mean, to be fair, my house is pretty big, so I'm like upstairs in the attic. But my husband can't hear me. Again.
Oh, you have a husband?
Yes. I'm in the attic, but I'm upstairs. So what are we talking about? Right? My house is detached.
It went over your head.
What are we talking about? No. If you want to go sleep, go to bed, bitch. Go to bed. The fuck? Got nothing to do with me. The fuck?
Why aren't you giving him head right now? Why are you up here talking?
Because it's 3 a.m, you dumb fuck. I'm in the UK, you bitch.
Don't you know anything?
Stupid fucking whore. Dirty whore. You dirty whore. Why the fuck shut the fuck up? Because I have insomnia. I have all my life. Is that part of you? What the hell?
Any man,
She doesn't have insomnia.
any man,
I don't.
would you refuse a blowjob at 3 o'clock?
And actually, why is funny? Why is funny is that he was sleeping, right, and then he woke up.
Every man wants
shut that fuck up.
To be woken up at 3 a.m. and
he already woke up. We had sex and he went back to bed. Are you okay? It's none of your fucking business, bitch. It's none of your fucking business, you dirty fucking old man. Dirty pervert. It's none of your fucking business. Dirty fuck.
Why a blowjob?
Dirty fucking whore. Shut up.
Oh, jeez.
Shut up.
No, what's perverted about
none of your fucking business. When we don't do anything. You don't fucking know anything. Be quiet. You stupid ignoramus. Stupid ignoramus.
Her husband.
Fucking whore. You fucking whore. Shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Well, see, Alan's been married. He knows how to make marriages work. So he's just giving you pointers. You should follow the wisdom of your elders.
Bro. Good for him, right? Each different person is very different. Each person is different. So again, maybe his wife might be job. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, every man wants.
Shut up. Mama, idiot.
Yeah, go. You know why? Because when the dick is in a woman's mouth, she can't talk. That's the best part. She's very intense.
Yeah, I can't lie, you're weird, bro. You're weird. You're fucking weird. That's just fucking weird. Because again, why are you assuming to know about me and my husband's sex life? Like, you don't know what the fuck happened today, yesterday, whatever. Like, we don't fucking know shit. You're assuming to know anything. Just keep your shit to your fucking self.
I know men.
I think you're a fucking idiot. I think you're fucking idiot.
Hey, there's nothing misogynistic about it.
Yes, it's woman is speaking. What do you call it?
I'm a lot more misogynistic than him. He hasn't been that bad.
Yes, but Pepe, I already told you to fuck yourself, so it doesn't matter. You already know to go fuck yourself when you speak to me. You already know, so it doesn't matter.
No, I don't know anything.
Shut. No, not you. No one's fucking talking to you. Talking to Pepe. Now I'm talking to you, right? Yeah. You need to. Your fucking ass in fucking line. Don't make me put your.
Who, me?
No, Pepe. You already know where you stand.
Where do I stand?
Good boy.
Oh.
He's a good boy.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Alan needs to know his fucking place.
Wow.
Yeah, you need to know your place.
No, what's my
You're a woman. 99% of the men.
Nevertheless, they're finding they're relatively consistent. There's a subset of patients whose initial onset of an autoimmune disease.
Oh look, my bad. I'm sorry.
I'm not the thing.
But they took out everything. Like, what the fuck?
Like what, the sound effects are still there?
No, mine just says soundboard. Oh, that's for the sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there. I like that one. Okay, anyways.
Mine doesn't work. My soundboard doesn't work.
Mine did.
That's my design Wednesday.
Probably. I think Amir got wrote to Clubhouse. Amir wrote to Clubhouse. I was using it too much.
That's funny.
Okay. You see how easy it is to shift the conversation, people, and then we're just laughing with each other? Isn't that better than arguing?
No,
God damn.
We can't shift the conversation when people are still dying. The conversation can be shifted, but it's still not going to stop what's happening to the Gazans. The way the aid was given to them. I mean, that was savage-like, bro. Like, why are they shooting into the crowds?
Yeah, Nikki, did you read about how this Gazan Humanitarian Foundation, how they're operating?
I did not.
They are. It's like a caged maze that they have they take biometrics and all this for people to go get a box of food, and you have a red light and a green light, and red means move forward, green means green obviously means move forward, and red means stop.
Normally means stop.
Yeah, exactly.
But just
So what they were doing. Let me just finish my thought real quick. What they were doing is they were turning on the green and quickly turning on the red and shooting the people as they're moving forward on that green. So once it turns red, boom, they shoot them.
And by which credible, and I say that with air quotes,
IDF soldiers.
Source did you?
IDF.
IDF is.
IDF soldiers have been leaking that this is what's happening.
Yep. And
a lot of the IDF are committing suicide.
And the American mercenaries, a couple of them came out. Two of them came out as whistleblowers and saying how they're not just the IDF, but also the American mercenaries are shooting Palestinians for fun.
that came out.
And who is checking the safety of the food which is being distributed by Americans and Israel to the Palestinian people in Gaza?
The safety of the food? No. This foundation is private. It's a private Delaware corporation or foundation. It was rejected by Switzerland. It was supposed to be set up in Switzerland. Switzerland rejected it because it broke a humanitarian law. They were setting it up. And then the CEO and then the general manager or the COO both resigned before it was fully implemented because it was breaking international law. And then they've had other resignations after that. But it's a private, and nobody knows who owns it exactly. And, somebody's getting paid off of this.
But I'm worried that maybe even the food which is being distributed to the Palestinian people, it could be contaminated.
It is. It's old. It's moldy. Like the flour and everything it's old and it's been sitting in the sun.
They were putting drugs inside.
Yeah, they're oxycodone.
Yeah, oxycodone inside the
flour. Yeah.
The flour.
They have that on video.
And sand. Let's not forget, they were mixing sand in the flour also.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing there. Like are they taking the bags out and then somewhere they have a distribution center and putting 1 part sand and 3, to be able to.
They wanted to starve to death.
I think they were doing that to save money. You know why? Because the Palestinians.
What is a Malcolm's answer? Usually the easiest answer is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Strategy to make sure that there is no reproduction. Because what we are saying is cleansing. What we are saying is cleansing. What we are saying is it echoes what they said they should look for a place for people in Gaza to go. Now, if nobody is agreeing to take the people from Gaza to where they can go apart from Gaza, that's why they have alternative way how to eliminate them.
Hold on a second. I have a question. Why do the neighboring countries have to clean up Israel's mess, right? So just think about it. Israel is the one that's committing the genocide. Israel is the one that's committing the apartheid and all this. So the Palestinians should go to all those other neighboring countries because they're Arab also, right?
And live like second-class citizens.
Wait, let me finish. So that just gives, so we're just taking, we're taking the responsibility of what Israel was doing to the Palestinians out. So that just gives the red light, the green light to any country that wants to do a genocide. No, go ahead, you just do that genocide. They could just go to the neighboring country. Does that make sense?
And don't forget about the proper, like everybody, in this, I think it's the Middle East in general, or maybe not, maybe a global South in general. Like people, because there's enough land, people build their homes. People build their homes in general. They own their property, they own the land, they build their homes, usually not with a mortgage. Usually, you save up because it's cheap. And you're using cement or stone. So, let's say the Palestinians in Gaza leave. Well, they just left behind their entire life savings in that land, which they invested in. And, everything they invested in. And their fathers and grandfathers invested, everything. And it's worth money. So basically, you're asking them to pick up a couple of bags and leave and go and become second-class citizens in another country. On top of that, they didn't do anything. It's not like they went to some other nation and conquered it or tried to take it over. They were just sitting there living their lives. And that's really why, the world, especially the global South, is behind Palestinians, is because this has happened over and over again throughout Africa, Southeast Asia. India, Pakistan, you name it, it's happened. South and Central America, it's happened all over the place. And this is like the final last stand, like no more. Colonialism stops here. Period. It's done. The world has taken a position.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Definitely. But I mean, would you tell a Colombian? Let's do a hypothetical. Well, because in Latin America, all these countries kind of share the same customs and the same language and whatever, right? Would you tell a Colombian, oh no, listen, you can't blame whatever. Go to the nearest country, so you won't get slaughtered. Even though those people are killing you there. Go to another country because you share the same culture and stuff like that. No. So how come people keep on saying this to the Palestinians?
It's like the Western narrative, or it's racism. I mean, saying a Colombian is the same as an Argentinian is the same as a Mexican. We wouldn't say that here in America because it would be like racism.
The argument is Palestinians. They're Arab, just like people who live in Dubai and Saudi Arabia and this. They're all Arabs, right? They're all Arabs. So just go to the nearest country. So you could do that argument with any country in South America because they share somewhat the same religion. Most people in South America is kind of Catholic, Roman Catholic, have the same language, have the same customs. So you could do that argument also over there.
But yet they're very different countries, very different cultures. Brazil would be like Iran because it's similar to Arabic, but it's not really Arabic. So it's similar to Spanish, but it's not really Spanish.
Right.
That's funny.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't happen.
And Brazil is really big too, and Iran is also really huge.
Musa left. You couldn't argue that, huh?
I know.
Sometimes I have smart ideas.
It's
also, you know what I was thinking, right? I was thinking this. You know how they say, oh, well, people who support the blue state out of Israel, that we need Israel in the Middle East because for security purposes, right? And I'm thinking to myself, really? Because on October 7th, they didn't really do a really good job of their security. And they let Hamas be there for 7 hours as the IDF ran into the kibbutz. Didn't fight Hamas. They ran into the kibbutz, and then that's why they was doing so many false firing.
Also, what security does Israel provide the United States in terms of the Middle East? Like the Middle Eastern countries, every other country, is its own autonomous nation. Israel doesn't get involved in them. If they did, they would, they'll get their ass whooped. I mean, they can't go up to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, even Qatar. As small as Qatar is, it's massively powerful compared to, in terms of influence compared to Israel. So what security is Israel providing? That's such a farce because they're not doing anything actively to provide any type of security to the U.S. They're not.
They have a colonial project named Israel in the Middle East.
But it's not security.
The United States.
Well, Israel could have loyalty to the United States, but look at Israel's economy, about $600 billion. That's not going to, that's not what's going to the U.S. That's what they trade back and forth with each other and with the world, okay? $600 billion is not a lot in the grand, the U.S.'s economy is what? GDP is what? Between 10 and 15 trillion dollars, followed by China second. Multiple other nations after China. Israel isn't even, I don't think they're even in the top 10.
Oh no, they're not even in the top 10.
No.
South Korea is actually in the top 10. It's considered a soft power.
Yeah, South Korea. I mean, we a lot of the medical devices that are used in the hospitals, whatever, X-ray machines, MRIs, all that stuff. A lot of it is made in South Korea.
Yeah, that's Korean started. I have a friend South Korean, and he said we may not invent anything, but he was like, but what we do is we can take something that's invented and make it 10 times better.
Yeah, they are very strong, and I always go back to this, very strong and experienced manufacturing base. They know how to manufacture products, and when it comes to innovating a product that's already out there, they know how to do that in terms of, okay, we could innovate it, we could make the idea better, and then take that and say, okay, how do we change our manufacturing practices to create this new innovative, product. That's the hard part. Like, there are so many. You have no idea. There are so many innovations out there right now that it would be, it would be like a different world. Only, like, for example, here in the U.S., we were able to manufacture. Because just because you have the idea and the design, the blueprint, the schematics, the AutoCAD drawings, everything you need to manufacture it, you have to also have the manufacturing experience and capacity to be able to design the manufacturing process to make that product. It's not like one step. You don't put it in a hole and it comes out on the other end as a finished good, And there's so many innovations out there that do not get realized, and we don't see them because, we can't design a way of manufacturing it. So having a product and a design of a product is only half the battle. You got to actually make it, and it's tougher than what it seems.
I agree. Why don't Gallup come up?
Japan, after World War II, the U.S., when the U.S. did have factories, that technology was transferred over to Japan. And Japan was known for not being very innovative. But what they were known for is quality control. Like, Japanese products were considered, superior because they were made better. They, when it came out the assembly line, it was, tested. It was, they had tight tolerances so that, things that, the parts that they used were quality parts. Like the cars. Look at a Toyota. Look at a Honda. These cars last forever. They're no different than any other car except the manufacturing process. Japanese cars, yeah. They last a long time. They're not any different. I mean, they're still cars. They last a long time because in the manufacturing process, they've identified the weaknesses. They fixed them. Any like, for example, wires that they think, okay, in 10 years this wire is going to end up fraying. Well, they just make it thicker. That's what manufacturing design means, is going through and seeing how in real life that product is going to, if it's going to hold up to real life, and then building your manufacturing around that. And that's what they did. So they don't have to invent anything new. They just have to make the same products better. And they built like a financial empire off of that.
This is the worst summer ever.
Yeah, I mean, it feels that way.
I feel like
for me,
in a hot kitchen, and there's no relief.
Well, it's really one of the first. I don't know about the first time. I mean, not that old, but it's where things that happen internationally and geopolitically, or even here politically in the U.S.,
actually are affecting the average person. ICE affects the average person. You know, what Israel is doing obviously affected, you know, if you count the families that lost people, millions of people, you know.
Even their carbon footprint in the air right now, I think I read an article, they compared their carbon footprint to Israel on this war on Hamas, and the bombing, just keep on relentless bombing of the Gaza Strip that's the size of Manhattan. They say their carbon footprint is compared to 100 countries.
Wow, yeah, I mean, 100,000 plus tons of bombs, 100,000 tons. You know, what is that? That's like that's like 40 or 50,000 cars.
You know, I wonder if they didn't have the United States backing them up, right? In a sense
This
of
Miller High Life
giving
is for
weapons to
you.
them. Would they be so willy into just, oh look, we don't need to go into the Gaza Strip. We got this, you know, we got all these weapons. Boom, 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 boom. This is not their money.
No, because all those everything they dropped was billions upon billions upon billions of dollars worth. You know, they're you know, the tanks that they designed with America. You know, their air base can pay for. So no, if it was their money, they would have ran out and couldn't purchase anymore. You know, I mean, money is not unlimited.
Exactly, because America's like an open ATM to them. Because it's like, you know, when I don't know, like, it's hard for me to spend my own money, but I can spend other people's money. And not really think about it.
I need to keep my wallet away from you.
Keep it away, Edward.
It's also with the U.S. given, you know, all these years, American military might, or, you know, technology to Israel, they allowed America to showcase what American technology, military technology can do so that they can sell more weapons to other countries and point at, you know, the success of Israel. But now, with how, you know, a lot of the American, like the Merkava 5, which is the most advanced tank in the world, which America helped build, was you know, they barely have any of them left, so they're not even using them. They're using 3s and 4s now, and the 4s are even getting scarce. The American air defense systems, Iran, you know, tore them apart. All this technology now. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question, Edward? When Bibi Netanyahu came for, in a year, this will be the third time. Do you think when he had that meeting with Trump, he begged for money?
I don't think it was money. I'm assuming weapons came up. Weapons mean more than money to Israel. Yeah, weapons would have come up, but it was to end the war. I think Netanyahu wants to get out of Gaza because you know, he's lost there, and that's a constant reminder of him losing, and he wants to be reelected again. So he wants to bring home the hostages. He wasn't able to do it before, you know, through military action. So now he has to negotiate and bring back the hostages. This is why he's giving concessions now and is in a weak position. But I think, you know, number one, Trump was pushing him to do so. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure Trump bragged him and said, "We'll give you X technology if you end the war in Gaza." maybe even, okay, so Iran did this to you, so we'll give you this technology to help protect you against Iran in the future. There was an article that Ukrainian commanders are transferring their knowledge, and they're actually coming to the U.S. and U.S. commanders are going over to Ukraine on how to best deploy and defend against drone technologies, and what type of drone technology works well and what doesn't. Basically, drone doctrine. The U.S.
That's another thing about Ukraine. I listen. I don't condone Russia going in there and going at a sovereign country, but we've given them a lot of weapons, and from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of expensive weapons just in the dirt, not being.
Yeah, I said that. My dentist, dental assistants, they're Polish, and they have families in Ukraine. And one of them, her brother, went over to Ukraine to visit his family from Poland across the border, and he said there were fields and fields and fields of brand new weapons, brand new, high end, like grenade launchers and other stuff. She mentioned a bunch of stuff. Brand new, never been used, just sitting there in the fields. Like anybody could come and pick them up. That's how saturated Ukraine got. Now, keep in mind too, when you said Russia invading Ukraine, Russia told Ukraine, do not join NATO, because they can't have NATO on. Because if you join NATO, that means nuclear weapons could be moved into your country. And Russia said, no NATO, no nuclear weapons moved to our borders, period. Do not join NATO, and then they wouldn't have a problem. They started the process. Russia attacks, and then in 2022, okay, 3 years ago, when Russia was not really attacking too hard, and they were in, but they weren't, all the way in, they actually presented Ukraine with a peace agreement. And it was, don't join NATO, we'll pull out of everything, we'll only keep this side of, and I forgot what the city was on the border, which is all Russian anyways. And you won't have a problem with us. And Zelensky, he initialed all the pages. It was like a couple hundred pages worth. He initialed them, and you have to initial them first, and then, then go back and sign. And before he signed, America and Germany got to him and said, no, don't sign the peace agreement. We will give you weapons, and you can defeat Russia, and we'll give you money, we'll give you weapons, we'll give you whatever you need.
That sounds like America, yeah.
That's not even a conspiracy theory. That's exactly what they did. And even Putin said it with the Tucker Carlson interview. He said it. He said, we initialed everything, and then America and Germany came in and convinced Ukraine not to, and to go to war with us. That's exactly how it happened. And what's Zelensky? A Zionist Jew. So, you have to connect the dots.
You see this picture? Oh, wait. Anyway, it's, you guys are sleeping. She should do sleeping. Amir, you here?
I'm here.
Are you been quiet?
I'm listening, but Edward, I do kind of, I do see that Ukraine is the one that started this bullshit war, right? So I really support Ukraine. Is what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't say I did either. It was Ukraine that wanted, or that NATO that wanted, or U.S. wanted Ukraine to join NATO, and Russia said, "Do not join NATO." we will not have a NATO country on our borders. All they had to do is stay out of NATO, and they would have been fine.
Now they have 2 NATO countries by the border, don't they?
Do they?
Finland and
but those are they're small countries, and they're worried about Israel, Russia invading them too, and so now they would have to worry about that. But these countries also, their military small. Ukraine is a pretty sizable military force.
Well, you said that the reason why Russia went into Ukraine is because they didn't want NATO on their borders, which I could understand that. But now they have actually 3 countries of NATO in their border: Switzerland, Finland, and now Ukraine, isn't it?
Yeah, they do. Let me see on GPT what the difference is. Because it comes down to nuclear weapons. The reason that they don't want them is because you could move nuclear weapons throughout the NATO countries. And that's what China doesn't want.
Well, I don't know why America didn't.
Hold on a sec. I can't hear you while I'm doing a GPT. I'm going to ask GPT about your question and, why these countries and, basically what you just asked. Hold on.
For that minority that participates in CNC, how is that wrong?
No. Again.
Months and months and years, and that's what's causing this overall public feeling that government is slow, doesn't do anything, and I think that's an indictment on and I mean sure Republicans as well, but primarily Democrats who have created.
Russia had planted a puppet in their government system, right?
He's asking his girlfriend. I changed my ChatGPT's personality.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the reason it's Finland and Sweden, not Switzerland.
Finland.
Sweden. Okay, so the reason they won't attack those 2 countries is because they had already joined NATO and during the war with Ukraine. Ukraine was not a part of NATO when they attacked, so the Mutual Defense Treaty would not have been invoked. So it wouldn't have been a war against all of NATO when attacking Ukraine. But if you attack Finland or Sweden, it would be a war against all of NATO. Now, what I'm thinking, could this been the plan all along? Is to get Finland and Sweden, because Ukraine is Eastern Europe. NATO is mostly Western Europe countries. Now, could this been the plan all along? Is to distract Russia, get them mired in a war with Ukraine, so that they could get Finland and Sweden into NATO. Which Finland and Sweden have money. Ukraine doesn't have money, and NATO is dependent on, really, it's a money pit for the military contractors. They sell weapons, right? So it's basically a group of countries that these military contractors could sell unlimited amount of weapons to. It's a whole big, scam, in my opinion. And you know, it's just so that's the reason why. But yeah, that's very, very interesting. That was an interesting question, actually, Wednesday.
So Ukraine is not part of NATO.
Ukraine is not in NATO and was not in NATO when Russia attacked it.
Okay, fair enough.
But the thing is, they snuck in Finland and Sweden way after the war.
Yeah, I guess because they were afraid of Russia.
No, I'm thinking, my opinion, that was because Finland and Sweden have a lot of money. They could spend money on military hardware, and they're Western nations. And I think Ukraine was used as a distraction to get Russia mired into a war so that, it doesn't have time to react to Finland or Sweden. Because if there was no war with Ukraine and Finland and Sweden, were talking about signing an agreement, then I'm pretty sure Russia would have attacked Finland and Sweden before they were a part of NATO. But attacking Ukraine is an Eastern European country, and the Western Europe sees Eastern Europe as, they're not equal. They don't see them as equal. The G8, don't see them equal. Western, when we talk about the West, the Eastern Europe is not included. And the West doesn't include Eastern Europe.
Listen, I don't like Zelensky. I'm very aware that he's a Zionist, but we also have Muslim brothers and sisters in on Ukraine.
Yeah, no, we do. No, I mean, it was, I think, I don't know, like, my opinion is that Ukraine, because why would Ukraine, if you think about it,
I can make the same argument for Israel. We have Muslim brothers and sisters inside Israel as well.
But why would Ukraine antagonize Russia, knowing that Russia will attack, and Russia has warned it multiple times?
Well, I think
we will attack.
Ukraine was being used by the United States because, if you really think about it, right, the three biggest enemies that the United States has is Russia, China, and Iran. That's what the United States, that's their three biggest enemies. Now, if you can use Ukraine to at least dismantle even 30% of the Russian army, that's good for the United States, who just has to worry about China when it comes to Taiwan. And I think that's what the United States did. They used Ukraine to, even if it was just 30% of the Russian army that it helped bring down. That's good for the United States, so they can put most of their resources and if anything goes down between China and Taiwan, they won't have to worry about Russia too much. I think it was just a strategy being used.
Sorry, I was asking GPT a follow-up question about Finland and Sweden. Were they used, or was Ukraine used?
It's telling me that Zelensky initialed peace treaty, and the United States and Germany was like, no, we'll give you funding to keep on fighting this war, right? Then it just seems like they just wanted Ukraine to keep on having a war with Russia.
Well, if you look at, I just asked GPT, Finland and Sweden are both heavily, now, first of all, they've been neutral since, the 1950s, neutral countries. But they are...
In World War II.
Yeah. So they are both, though, very wealthy. I just confirmed this with GPT. They have, develop indigenous military technologies. They are integrated with Western military companies. They are, they're basically, wealthy Western countries that are heavily entrenched in the military industrial complex of the Western world. So they would be perfect candidates for NATO. And strategically, in that area, the Nordic area, with Finland and Sweden, I think that makes up all of that area as NATO. And Ukraine is poor, lacks infrastructure, lacks massive corruption, and we knew this from back, Joe Biden days. Massive corruption. They're not integrated with anything with the West, and they've always served as a buffer between Russia and NATO, and Western Europe, I should say. Western Europe saw Ukraine as a buffer between Western Europe and Russia, and would have wanted Ukraine to stay as a buffer, a neutral buffer, not a part of NATO. So, to me, all the signs point to the fact that Ukraine was sacrificed to allow Finland and Sweden, who can afford Western, especially American, military hardware, while Ukraine cannot afford it.
Yeah, that too, and also it was sacrificed to at least take down a little bit of the Russian army.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's right.
just worried about China and Taiwan.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Russia would have gotten in. Russia and the U.S. would not get into a direct war. Just like China and the U.S. would not get into a direct war. They're both nuclear powers and both have all the capabilities.
If it's an indirect war, it's still Russia and, you know what I mean, helping China.
Mm-hmm.
So if Ukraine was able to at least dismantle, let's just say 30% of their army, that's better for the United States.
True. And I don't think the U.S. saw this coming, is that really China has bypassed both Russia and the U.S. when it comes to production of weaponry, manufacturing of weapons, which makes sense, obviously, because they do manufacturing, right? So it would make sense that they could manufacture a lot more weapons, much quicker. Instead of just hundreds of missiles a year, they could produce thousands upon thousands of missiles a year without any issue. And I think this is why, Russia wasn't able to deliver all the equipment that Iran needed, and Iran then, and China saw an opportunity and was able to sell billions of dollars worth of air defense systems that integrate. And that's the thing, the Russian technology wasn't able to be networked into the indigenous Iranian air defense systems. They were separate. The Chinese technology was built to be networked into other systems. So while China sold multiple air defense systems to Iran, these defense systems, networked, can also use all of Iran's other radars and missile platforms. So it's all integrated into one unit. So selling a few upgrades their entire air defense system, which is interesting. I learned this the other day. And this AB technology that China has, I don't think the U.S. has this yet, where you could have a missile fired like half, the other side of Iran for a target, on, let's say, on the eastern side of Iran, but a target that's on the western side of Iran. The air defense system doesn't need to see or be in range of that target, it could use other radar installations, okay, and then fire the missile, and then have the missile take orders from, let's say, a drone or a set of drones, you know, to guide its path to the target. So, and then if that drone gets destroyed, it just picks up a signal from the other drone that's in the area. And so the air defense, or even the J-10s that they're looking to buy, the fighter jets, same thing. You can fire a missile. You don't have to be anywhere near the target, near the other, fighter jets, like the F-35s or F-16, whatever. As long as there's, a drone or radar or something near it, that missile would then disconnect from the airplane, from the fighter jet that fired it, and connect to that radar system that's closest, that can tell it what's going on in the sky, and then help it aim towards that target. Which sounds simple, but nobody's done it before, and it's proven to be very effective.
Be right back.
Was that a threat?
No, I mean, I'll be right back.
Hello, I'm joking.
You said something about hypersonic missiles and
Spears, like, they're all fucking grifters. Didn't you have, like, what do you call it? Like, the women, you have, like, these female dating strategists that kind of, like, are the opposite. Well, they are, like, the red pill version of women. And they talk about how, like, this is how I've been on dates with guys that have net worth of over $100 million. And this is what I do. This is my screening criteria. And it's just like, yeah, right, bitch. And any woman that, like, actually wanted, this is the ironic part, is that any woman that wanted to marry, like, a quote unquote high value man with, makes over a certain amount of money, they're not good. The last person they're gonna date is a social media influencer who's, like, trying to teach women how to be gold diggers. Like, that would be the biggest single red fucking flag you could have.
Sam,
like, these women are full of shit.
You don't realize this, right?
Russiagate, Tulsi. That's true.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Why are you doing that? Like, you see what
I want the political people to come up. I'm not talking about dating anymore. I was, Professor Oksana, before that, I was trying to, like, dropping hints, like, let's change the topic, because I wanted to, like, switch it to something else.
I want to know if you've always been that way.
What is it called? Obamagate? Or is it, what would I call it?
The connection was fine. Or is that something that happened after you delved into whatever you went into? Because I'm thinking that you kind of, like, you're going down the path of becoming a reprobate, or, like, you go for
Russiagates. I'll just call it Obama's Russiagate.
So, or anything new?
Hey, Danny. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Riboinai Shalom. Riboinai
So we had that nigger in chief, Obama.
I'm listening.
I saw the art.
I'm listening to
the
Pepe.
intelligence reports where he originally got back, where it was saying that Russia, they did not see that there was any real.
Let me turn this
collusion
down.
or interference.
Let me turn Pepe down.
Chuck, were you in the army?
Yeah.
What was your MLS?
It was 11 Bravo. Yeah.
Someone claimed you have stolen valor, John.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that before.
You know I died on that hill? I did.
Did you? Oh, did you see that video of you talking about dying on a hill?
No, but you've talked to me about it. You told me it was so good, and I don't even know if I was crazy or trolling or what I was
No,
doing.
you weren't. It wasn't you talking about it. It was some guy you were talking to you and telling you about how people. Huh?
How long were you not commissioned?
No, I commissioned, but I was in from 2002 to 2007.
Oh, good. Wow.
But I was nasty guard, and I didn't deploy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have an interesting background and an interesting future. How's your present moment right now?
I heard that they got hacked for like a year. Someone was just like hacking them.
Oh.
Maybe.
National Guard?
Yeah, that's what I read this week.
Oh, yeah.
Fredericks, are you Jewish?
No.
Do
I
you,
grew
want,
up around a lot of Jews.
do you want to hear about the internal conflict of Jews?
I mean, are you Jewish?
My father's Jewish, my mother's gorgeous. I'm a cashew. I'm an in-betweener.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm judged by...
Okay,
I am judged by both inclinations, judged by them, not ruled by them. The in-betweener listens to the claims of both inclinations and judges between them. When a physical desire arises, the left side of your heart is aroused to pursue it. This is the voice of the inclination towards selfishness. Bring that passion into the right side of your heart, where your intellect responds with the voice of inclination toward selflessness. Most often, the two inclinations are in conflict. So lift the matter to God, who will strengthen the goodness of the right, as our sages teach. Without God's help, the evil inclination could not be overcome.
You're reading this over some website?
No. The Yetzer Hatov and the Yetzer Hara, the inclination.
Am I allowed to hear this? Is this the Tanya? Is this for men only?
Yeah, this is Tanya. For selfless good and inclination.
No, but I don't
for
know. Is
selfish
this
evil.
a men only book? Like, am I allowed to hear it? Are you wording my Judaism?
No, you can hear this. This is like great Torah wisdom. The Alter Rebbe.
Why do you think my cat did this to my face?
The Alter Rebbe deliberately misreads the text to argue that the Benoni, in-betweener, judges between competing passions rather than is judged by them. Since everyone has both good and evil inclinations, there is no sense in being judged by them, but only by how you handle them. The in-betweener lifts the competition to God. This is what is meant by the teaching. I set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life that you may live. Deuteronomy. If the word therefore is a command from God telling us which to choose, then there is in fact no choice at all. Choose life should not be read as a command, but rather as a consequence. Toira and Tanya are saying that if you clearly see that the right side speaks for life and the left side speaks for death, you will naturally choose life. The real choice is not between life and death, but between seeing and not seeing.
Wow. Wow.
Or do you want to know how to become an in-betweener? Do you think you sin, Frederick?
Of course, everybody else.
Sin strengthens your sense of.
I was born of sin.
Sin strengthens your sense of alienation from the whole and excuses exploitation of the other. Isaiah 59. Nefesh, ruach, neshama, body, heart, and mind. Nefesh, ruach, neshama, body, heart, and mind.
Well, I actually go on my way now. Try not to sin, you know.
Your,
It's hard not to.
your sins stand between you and God. Book of Isaiah 59. Sin arises from selfishness. Do you think you're selfish?
I can be, yes. But I try to fight against it, bro.
Selfishness arises from a sense of fear and scarcity. Fear and scarcity arise from the egoic shell of self-isolation, Kelipat Noka. And this egoic shell arises from Sitra Achra, the other side of God, the side that sees only the many and denies the one and the very possibility of unity. Because sin can be traced back to Sitra Achra, which is primarily a state of mind, your best defense against sin is the awakened intellect, Seichel, intuitive wisdom, Chakma, rational understanding, Bina, and integrative knowledge, Da'at. One way to awaken the intellect is to remind yourself whenever selfish passions arise that they can only lead away from God, when in fact your deepest longing is for union with God. With this in mind, your thoughts will be directed toward God. Your words will be words of Torah, and your deeds will be acts of God.
Good question. I think John's trying to convert.
February 5th, 4:21 a.m. Gotta get the cup. Gotta get the cup.
John, this is the calmest I've ever heard you speak.
What does that mean? And then they were talking about in the other room, Earth Coincidence Office.
Nah, dude, don't read too much into it. Forget about it.
I don't know. Well, Frederick.
Nora, this is something totally different.
Frederick, I sound calm because I'm reading from a book. What was the last book you read, Frederick?
I just went through Psalms.
Danny, do you want to hear your horoscope, Danny?
Am I gonna die, John?
What's your zodiac sign, Danny?
I'm a Libra. I have the same birthday as Lenny Bruce and Sasha Baron Cohen.
Okay, this is what it says. The scales. Cardinal error, you're a ruler, and you exalt. Green is your color. You're late September, late October. So what's your birthday?
October 13th. It's also the day of the miracle of Fatima, which was I think in 1917. In Miracle, I guess it's a place in Portugal or Brazil. I get confused. They speak the same language.
Yes.
And something happened to the sun. It's called the miracle of the sun.
Can you like Google it a little more? So it happened on October 13th. So what exactly?
I think 1917. Let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up. I'm curious about this fact.
Miracle of the sun.
That's great.
October 13th, 1917.
It's a powerful day.
Okay, listen to this. This is your zodiac. These are two quotes related to your...
It was in Portugal. It was in Cova de Iria in Fatima, Portugal.
Okay, but what exactly was the miracle? What?
The sun did something that wasn't normal.
Wow.
It went in a spiral, and it said, there's a prophecy made by 3 shepherd children.
That's funny. Now you got me all curious. Bias. Are you a miracle worker?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
I need a miracle if you know someone.
What kind of miracle do you need?
I don't know.
I'll just pray for you.
All right, Danny, I'm gonna teach you the power of Ifa. This is your zodiac.
Let's hear this, John. This is the concept.
If you ever talk to an African American on this app and you share the story and the power of Ifa, like they will love it because this deals with the Yoruba. Yoruba.
Yoruba.
Everybody has the island.
Okay, listen to this.
No, it's like a religion.
It says,
Yoruba people.
it says, here's a quote from a booklet by. This is by a priest of the indigenous African divination system known as Ifa. His words are well worth your study. Awo, the secret and invisible forces of which the diviner speaks, can also be called occult powers. Within the discipline of Ifa, there's a body of wisdom called Awo, which attempts to preserve the rituals that create direct communication with forces of nature. Awo is a Yoruba word that is usually translated to mean secret. Awo refers to the hidden principles that explain the mystery of creation and evolution. Awo is the esoteric understanding of the dynamics and form within nature. These invisible forces are not considered secret because they are devious. They are secret because they remain elusive, awesome in their power to transform, and not readily apparent. As such, they can only be grasped through direct interaction and participation. Anything which can be known by the intellect alone ceases to be Awo. That's called Obatala, Ifa and the Spirit of the Chief of the White Cloth by Awo Falukun Fatumbi. And then it's
really spiritual.
Then it says, try to paint your world as though you are the first person looking at it. That's Georgia O'Keeffe of Scorpio. And then this is Stephen Levine. To let go of the last moment and open to the next is to die consciously, moment to moment. What'd you think, Annie? Pretty powerful magic.
Wait, was that a horoscope? It didn't sound like one.
Yeah, it's from a book called High School Astrology. I was reading like the page on your horoscope.
It was like purple prose.
Purple prose. Okay, we'll do one final meditation. This is the Tao Te Ching. So take the deepest breath of the day.
My cat is such a bitch right now. I need to cut your nails. I know you caught my face.
All the world says that my Tao is great. But
Yeah, you're still being a little bitch.
But seems queer, like nothing on earth. But it is just because my Tao is great,
My lovely and frank.
that it is like nothing on earth. If it were like anything on earth, how small it would have been from the very beginning. I have 3 treasures, which I hold fast and watch over closely. The first is mercy. The second is frugality. The third is not daring to be first in the world. Because I am merciful, therefore I can be brave. Because I am frugal, therefore I can be generous. Because I dare not be first, therefore I can be the chief of all vessels. If a man wants to be brave without first being merciful, generous without first being frugal, a leader without first wishing to follow, he is only courting death. Mercy alone can help you win a war. Mercy alone can help you to defend your state. For heaven will come to the rescue of the merciful and protect him with its mercy.
Because no one can stand me. Ave Maria.
Namaste.
That's my favorite.
Namaste.
What is your club called that you're starting? I joined it in Israel, even though I'm 98% Jew. Did I join your patrilineal?
Yeah, you can join the book club. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but it's called a book club. Some people like to read books as opposed to just like jibber jabber and just talk nonstop aimlessly all the time. But like use a script or a program to talk to get smarter. Because when you read that stuff, you're like, wow, the low bandwidth, communication exchange, information exchange here is just like for people with Down syndrome.
Do you think I have Down syndrome?
Yeah,
Yes.
you've got the IQ of a Down syndrome person at an assisted living facility.
What do you blame for that?
Brain rot, obviously.
Fiona, where you been? Where you been all night? Fiona said I have some cognitive bias disorder. Yeah.
Y'all have a great day.
Why? I like travel.
Nobody knows you on that block, bro. You don't put in no pain for your book.
Muhammad Ali and others noted the story is not found in any Islamic sources that are classical. It appears more of a folk tale or a dawa anecdote used to teach a moral lesson about patience, forgiveness, and kindness, and that its authenticity is weak or fabricated.
Actually, Tabbat is in the Quran. So if you look at Tabbat it's an actual surah, which means it's a chapter of the Quran, and it says, "In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful." Condemned are the clans of Abu Lahab, which only used to be an uncle of the Prophet, and he is condemned. His wealth did not avail him, nor did what he required. He will enter blazing fire, and his wife, the firewood carrier, around her neck is the robe of thorns. So you can actually look up this ayah. This is not something that I'm making up. You can actually look up this. This is a chapter of the Quran. In the name of Allah.
Okay, this is called Reading Books for Danny and the Jews Book Club Shabbos.
They have to be meticulous when it comes to let's reveal our cards and receipts at the appropriate timing, and let's make sure we have like steadfast, locked, verifiable. You can't squash the shit. You can't spin the shit. Actual facts, right? So what did Trump say last week? He's like, oh, why is everyone, worried about Epstein? He's like, it's all a hoax. Obama and the Democrats, they twisted and they like adjusted the information for that. And people kind of blew that off. That was last week. So what do we have this week? We have now Tulsi Gabbard coming out and saying, truth be told, Obama and his White House administration totally altered and weaponized the intel groups for the betterment of what they wanted to subvert and displace the President of the United States. It's kind of like you got to give the intel team time to be able to acquire, process, then strategically gather, and then strategically release the information to ensure that there will be actionable follow-through, which we all know Trump's big thirsty as fuck for, right? So, but what did Trump say? He's like, oh, it's a hoax. They mess with the data and the information. You don't know, And like, they're struggling. What did Bongino and Patel say months ago? Oh, the deep state is working hard against us. They're trying to cover it up. They're trying to right? So in my opinion, I feel like that's the exact same thing. I feel like this is kind of a precursor. It's like an appetizer from the White House administration saying, we tried to tell you all, like, we're working on some shit. We're trying to get all our receipts in order. They try to really change up the intel for their own convenience. And we have to unfuck that to make sure we get to the fucking truth. And we're not going to sit there and release it all until we can say, this happened, but this is false. This is where it started from. And this is the actual fucking truth. And they can't get to that point and being underneath a microscope of everyone saying, show the list, show the Epstein list, show the Epstein list. It's going to be hard to do that. I think that's why, like, Trump was kind of dispelling, like, oh, why are you guys interested in that? Trying to get, like, the heat away from the actual intel team to not scare away the people, to the potential whistleblowers. All this information came out from a whistleblower with Tulsi Gabbard's recent report today. From a whistleblower.
You don't think that? I mean, I don't know the details, but I'm just telling you it's my intuition, which could be 100% wrong. It does seem like today, this drop from Tulsi Gabbard it's extremely convenient, and I have to. If Democrats did it, I would do the same thing. I do think it's very fucking convenient, and
absolutely, but it's also taking in, like, I don't know, I just have a PR brain, understanding, like, why are they dropping things at a certain time? What have they said precursor to that? And what are their actions after that? Like, that's just how my brain, that's how I operate, right? So I literally, in my business brain, go back to what they said 2 weeks ago, knowing the whole back history of it, and why there was a couple of items that I just mentioned earlier, like what Trump said. I'm like, why would he say that? That's kind of odd. That's not the structural narrative that he's been sharing before. This is new. So whenever Trump goes out of his, like, repetitive statements, Russia, Clinton, Hillary is a bitch, when he goes out and adds in something new, I always pay attention to that. So it's like, yeah, it could be a distracting factor, but it also could be, like, kind of a flag up for the Republic to say, like, hey, if this was the shit we revealed when it came to Russia, can you imagine the shit that we're trying to unpack and catch the receipts for when it comes to the actual Epstein case? Because Trump literally kind of teased that last week. He's like, oh, Obama, I'll pull up his post that he literally said. He's like, Obama and they changed the intel reports when it came to actual Epstein files, and I don't know what it's like, almost like he's trying to push it away. And people took it to one thing, but I always look at it as, like, the timing of everything. It could be, some could perceive it, like you said, that they're like, oh, they're trying to cover up, like, okay, but what if Bonnie say, like, yes, it's now been passed on to the courts. She's filed it on the courts for the Epstein files to be released. So it's like, okay, maybe some things needed to happen first to get a lot of people fucking scared for them to spill the beans, for them to come forward and say, shit, I gotta save my ass. I gotta, like, pump true in front. And if you look at historically, when people bookmark posts and bookmark tweets and X posts or whatever, and they come back, a lot of Trump's posts, they always come back to become true in fruition, right? He can't sit there and say, as POTUS, I think this. That's the reason why he just rattles off random shit all the time, which we all love. We think is fucking funny. But I look at it in a different capacity, like, all right, that's new. What's that about? Right? And just kind of, tuck it away. But there's too many little things that I feel like Trump is kind of breadcrumbing us to realize there is going to be kind of a bigger reveal to the detriment, in my opinion, of like global affairs. But yeah, I think it's coming. And I put in the chat all the names of the people that were in the secret classified meeting from when they gave Obama the actual intel brief on the 16th, saying Russia did not have any adherence to the elections. We did not find any of their actions to be adversarial, to have any type of impact on the elections. Then they had the meeting. And then within the exact same day, they completely changed from what the Presidential Daily Brief, the PBD, shared, was completely different from what they put out, right? And in the receipts that Tulsi Gabbard shared, she said, per President Obama, this is what should go forward. It's kind of like, all right, we're going to exaggerate. We're going to be fucking dramatic about it. We're going to like cause doubt and chaos. And if you think about it, isn't that honestly what the Democratic Party is about? Doubt and chaos. Doubt and chaos. Oh, look what they're doing, terrible, X, Y, and Z. Like, but really, what's really happening, right? They're petulant children, drama queens that have lost their way and they don't know how to come back to daddy. That's really what the problem is.
Daddy Trump? Well, I mean, I would say that
Daddy and Perry.
I would say everything you're saying perhaps could be true. I mean, part of the problem is that like people like to connect the dots and come up with conclusions, which, a lot of detectives like to do this, but then detectives have to, they end up understanding that their trail is wrong and they have to go another route, and they keep on having to go another route until they get it right. Perhaps this is all true. I just, there's no way I can confirm or deny this, and that's why I'm like, kind of, I agree with you largely. Like, I do think that both the Democrats and the Republicans have a machine where you have media, you have the donor class, you have influencers, and of course the politicians that kind of, they all coalesce and I don't know, push their agendas. I don't really, which I mean, obviously, back in 2020, I would say it was very strong against Trump. I'm very strongly on the side of Joe Biden. With that being said, I don't know. I feel like we can look at what happened with what was released today. Even though it's like seeing how they were briefed about how there was not like wide scale, I guess you can say, interference into our elections. What is the whole fucking picture? I mean, those little snippets are not going to, they don't tell me everything. Is there perhaps intel that she's leaving out? I don't fucking know. This is why I hate having conversations regarding shit that involves classified information or intelligence. It's something we do not have access to. I don't know the full fucking story. I'm just being patient. I'm just sitting back and waiting.
But at least there's alternate information that people can consume and understand what there is. And it would be one thing if it was conjecture, but it's not. I literally spent this afternoon looking at all the detailed receipts, the dates, the time, what was said, And I'm like, damn, this is like, it's all panning out. Most of the time they don't pan out. I mean, just doing just basic stupid girl research, like they don't pan out, but every one of them.
No, I mean, I think, trust me, I do think that the Democrats were extremely dirty. They lied about a lot of shit.
They're dirty as fuck.
They played very unfairly. I'm not trying to run cover for them whatsoever. But I am like I say somewhat pragmatic in the sense that you have somebody like Donald Trump who is I know this may offend a lot of you, but like a sleazy person, a good chunk of his life, not his whole life, and he was also a Democrat most of his life. I don't really, I don't know, I don't really see him above the Democrats and playing the same fucking games.
So I in the chat a copy to the actual White House official statement in regards to Russiagate, and you can see it. It's very contradictory to the actual intel information that was released today. That is the official White House statement.
By the way, I think you underestimate, Pepe, how big this is. I mean, it's essentially Obama has been referred for prosecution to the DOJ. Well, I mean, not saying that anything will come from it, but just the fact that they're actually moving forward with that, like it's a formal inquiry, and that includes everybody else that was involved. So this isn't just like, it'd be like if this was reversed, like if it was said Trump is being referred for prosecution. Do you know how big of a story that would be?
Yeah, but now? But Merrick Garland was, and Democrats are really fucking pissed off that he was not prosecuted. The fact that he was even allowed to run for president pissed them the fuck off. And I do think, at least in 2024, I do think that, look, the Democrats, I think they definitely went on a witch hunt for Donald Trump. Those charges on, they had some popcorn fart of a fucking case in New York where what would have normally only been misdemeanors, where he got charged with 134 or convicted of 134 felony counts. I mean, it was fucking insane how they went after him. And one of the things that I personally wished for,
I don't know what is,
was that when the Republicans came into power, that they would, and I'm not going to lie, they would, in a way, witch hunt them back and put them in prison. They would, you basically put, and it may seem like kind of third worldist to like wish that politically I'd want, once right-wingers or left-wingers come into power, they gulag the opposing group. But the Democrats have been doing this for, what is it, going on almost 10 years? Yeah, I mean, you have to, something has to be done where you can't have this corrupt bullshit, happening anymore. And these political witch hunts where they end up trying to literally jail the opposing party.
There are many things we've never done.
We didn't see this before Trump.
Upon the world.
And I'm going to be fair. I don't think Trump started it.
Until our little rage runs through their kingdoms long enough to become a nuisance, then they swat us down, humiliate us.
Yeah, but I can see that's the thing, right? I think why is it okay? Why is it not okay for the Democrats to do something? But then when the right or the Republicans do it, then it's okay because the left did it. Wouldn't the right thing be it's not okay when either side does it, and let's just try to move on? I get that. I agree with you actually today.
That is, but I think that so. Here's the really weird thing, and what I've always found fascinating between like especially like tankies and fascists, which I understand they only exist in the online world, but both of them believe in the absolute not only suppression of speech and freedoms and rights of the opposing group, but like just fucking murdering them.
A few days ago.
What do you do? Like, I'm somebody who thinks that if you were not having
to execute the man who killed my father.
The red wave that was spreading mainly from Eastern Europe.
No one loved him. No one wanted to follow him.
You would not have fascism. I think fascism is actually a very ideal response to. If you're a wartime government and you need to like literally get by, like I support Ukraine over Russia, for example, they would have what you consider very fascistic system. Freedom of speech is any opposing views, you go to jail. When it comes to their manufacturing, the jobs, the industry there in Ukraine in general, it's going to be centered around the war. It's a state-steered economy. Now they've had to become very regimented. They've had to do everything that's fascist to fight, what is. I don't consider Russia like communist. I consider Putin just like a corrupt piece of shit. But
and here I stand.
It's in a way, fascism is like a wartime. It's a wartime government. I think that's the only time it's like a quote unquote ideal. It's what you would have to work with, while you're at war. Now, this is not me advocating for fascism or Hitler. But to be fair, the other side, they were every bit as they violated everybody's rights if they disagreed with them as well. And they did purges, they did all kinds of like horrible shit. And so like, I mean, I think tankies might even be a lot worse than fascists. I don't know, but I'll end.
So just to add, or answer Barlow's question, is the Democrats did have their chance to square this all up straight when Jim Comey had a chance to prosecute Hillary Clinton during the election for what she did. And he chose not to do anything about it because it was during the election. I mean, that's what he said. So there was a chance there to get things straight, so they went forward, and I think people thought they could, take liberties. I think Trump is feeling like, okay, since they let that slip out and slip by, now maybe Trump can do whatever he wants in that sense. So it's Jim Comey had a great chance at that point to actually do something. You know what I mean?
Well, Burl, do you think that like Democrats in the United States? I know you're more socialist, if I recall correctly, somewhat of a socialist, but I mean, I do think that at the end of the day, both Republicans and Democrats, if you're a socialist, at least in America, neither side is what you would want. And I'm actually somebody who's a Republican, but unlike the Republicans, I'm more like centrist when it comes to fiscally centrist, I guess you can say. I was somebody who was like really taken aback and angry about Trump's. So when the big beautiful bill ended up passing, they ended up saying that you'd have to jump through all of these fucking hoops in order to remain on Medicaid and get SNAP benefits, whatever the fuck. And the two big holdouts were like it was Senator Tillis, I believe, North Carolina, and Senator Murkowski from Alaska. Somebody who's lived in like rural areas of America. It's so different there. just going and getting it, like finding a fucking job, even a place to fucking volunteer, making them jump through all of these fucking hoops. It's life is a lot rougher in certain areas of the country than others, and I can't help but think that like he was in a way like shitting on his voter base, a huge swath of his voter base. But then, like, when it came to the wealthy people, they're just going to make more money. They're going to get taxed less. I thought it was bullshit. But with that being said, like, as much as I think, like, Trump, he's not somebody I find, to be ideal. Do you think that the Democrats are really, like, that great here in America?
No, I guess if you're asking me, no, I don't think the Democrats are that great. I think, like, for the Epstein thing, I think Biden would be just as guilty of covering up whatever the hell's going on. That's why I think it's, like, really weird. I think, like, let's just keep calling it out. It doesn't matter which side it is. But no, I'm not a Democrat. I often, like, people often think so, but I'm Canadian. So to me, like, both sides can be crap, right? I can call both sides out.
Okay, I get it.
I'd just like to say that everyone's thinking, fuck Canada.
Canada hasn't done anything to us.
So it looks
so stupid. Go ahead, Holly.
It looks like Thomas Massey is really pushing this Epstein thing, right? And it seems like, I don't know, it looks like what Bondi tweeted yesterday kind of seems like she's making some effort maybe to get at least the court transcripts fully released. Do I have that right?
I doubt it. No, I think she's just... even the language is like all pertinent information from the grand jury testimony. It's like, first of all, they get grand jury testimonies to be released that are sealed is like it's likely not going to fucking happen. And then it's what is quote unquote pertinent information? I mean, I guess he gets to decide that. I mean, it's just like the motherfucker said he was going to release all of the goddamn files, which I understand. Even as president, you don't have that fucking power. But as president, when the people who voted for you ask for that fucking information, the last thing you do is insult them.